Hi internet, how's it going? Today I wanted to do like a little review talk about video. I've got an interesting product that we found the other week at Spotlight. So these are Choco pens, and really it's like, this is the white that I've been using and I've been loving. It's like a little pouncing wheel on the inside here, say one of these spiky buggers. And then the chalk is actually kept in the pen so that as you run it across, it distributes the chalk. I think the previous way of using pouncing or whatever you want to call it, I forget the actual term name and I heard it recently, is you'd say run this over your pattern so that it would poke little holes in it or over whatever you wanted to make a line of, and then you'd go through and you'd dust it with chalk over top. I know there are pouncing pads that they use now in quilting where you put down like a stencil of whatever you want to quilt, whatever pattern, and then you go over with it. It almost looks like a sponge and it distributes chalk all over it as well. So that's another way. But coming across these like little chalk things, I thought it would be great for me for marking patterns because I am terrible at using chalk. I don't know why. It is beyond me using chalk. Pencils also annoy me generally, and I don't like the washable markers because I've heard a lot of people that have had issues with that coming back up. I know there are little tricks to get rid of it, but for now I wanted to try this, and yeah. So they come packaged like this, as you can see with the blue one that Mum brought, because I did love the white. On the back it says, for marking fabric, small wheel rolls smoothly across fabric while marking a fine chalk line. Roll wheel against a ruler or pattern to draw lines, brush lines away. Always touch on a swatch of same fabric to make sure marks can be removed satisfactorily. And remove all marks before pressing. Didn't listen to that about my skirt, but it's pretty much come off my skirt that I was doing. I used it for making my Slytherin skirt, and I found that it at least kept the pleat lines really well, because even though you can say run it across and it comes out like that, and sometimes it marks up a little bit, if you rub it away, because it kept the chalk in there so much better, it kind of stayed for longer and was a lot easier to see. I can see if you use this on a fine silk or satin or something that it would leave some marks and distort the fabric. One of the learning curves that I did have with it is I had to learn how to do like a curved line. Because it's a little wheel, it naturally wants to go straight. Also, it makes this noise. I have recorded some up close of me using it on different fabrics that I might play now, but I found at least on the Panam machine poly cotton that it's not even poly, it's just polyester fabric that I was using, I didn't have any like snags or any obvious lines left over from it. With it's probably a poly cotton or a cotton lining that I used on it, I didn't have any issues either. I've used it on a pretty satiny and jersey materials. I found on the jersey materials that it kind of, you lose the chalk really fast if you stretch it, which is just expected because the chalk's going to fall out, whereas something with it less of a stretch doesn't have that problem. I haven't tried it on velvet, but I might see if I have any velvet scraps still. So let's try this on the velvet. Yeah, it's not working great on top of the velvet because it is such a stretchy and weird thing. It works great on the back, but on the actual velvet side, you lose it really fast and it distributes. But obviously, the stretchier the fabric, the more this is going to pull, so you might want to try and use a chalk instead, or a marker or something of that sort. Really, I think when it comes to quilting especially, it's going to be really handy for lines, just because obviously quilting cotton generally has very little stretch, so you're not going to lose it. It does come in white, blue and red, or that's what they have at our Spotlight, so that's a nice range. It's, yeah, again, if it has a lot of stretch, you're going to have issues with stretching the fabric as you're marking it, which is something that can happen with anything really. And it, especially on stretches or velvets, you might lose the chalk if it stretches, and then if you do it on something very light, like a fabric that you easily see needle or pin marks in, you're probably going to see the lines as well. I think it's just a general rule of like, do it with whatever you do pouncing with, but it's really handy. I know Mum has used it with standard paper just to mark darts on certain things, and that has worked out well for her. I've used it on my pattern. The only issue with using it on a pattern or paper is obviously you're marking holes in the pattern and paper, so it's probably going to tear really easily after that, but we live and we learn. That's about all I can say is we live and we learn with these things. So yeah, all in all, I found it really great. There is that small bit of a learning curve as you get the hand of using it. I think if you use like a pouncing before and you don't want to be historically accurate, it's a great tool to use just to mark little things. I know even though it did put holes in where my bloody pleats were, I would use it again on a pattern, but I'd only use it once or twice on that pattern just for the pattern's integrity. Yeah, otherwise it seems to have done a really great job. I'm going to continue to use this for other designs and for marking out things, so you'll probably see it a lot in the upcoming videos. So yeah, if it's something that you're interested in, if other things don't seem to work for you or you like using chalk more, I'd say give this a go. So yeah, this has turned out to be my favourite tool for marking anything. I know Mum likes the friction pens to mark her patterns with. What are your guys' favourite tools to use for marking your patterns and marking out everything? And don't forget to check out our Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. We're always updating everyone on what's happening there, especially Instagram. We post a lot of videos, pictures, and I'll see you guys in the next video.